New policy coming from the Trump administration is Make America Healthy Again, initiative led by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Dr. Drew Pinsky is a longtime friend of Kennedy. He's been pushing to do things like this for many years. He, of course, was my co-host for years here on Fox 11. It's great to see you back.
It is so great to see you, except we weren't allowed to sit this close.
No,
it was during COVID.
We started the show during COVID where we sat a mile away from each other.
I was over here and you were over there.
We acted like we were sitting next to each other. Now we actually can sit next to each other.
It's great to see you. Congratulations on everything. You've been in the middle of everything lately.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
It's been a lot. Yeah. But always great to see you. So let's talk first about this Make America Healthy Again thing. I know you love the concept.
Of course. I mean, what is there not to like about that, right?
Yeah.
But
what are we actually seeing? What is it actually going to mean for a viewer right now that's watching?
I think the thing to understand is that there have been some adulterating influence on healthcare and the pharmacology, sort of, particularly the big pharma realm. And RFK Jr. is somebody that knows how to take large organizations, complex organizations, and pull them apart and look at adulterating influences. I mean, look, he mentioned in the hearing that you're seeing right there on the camera now, he said, look, you representatives here, the senators on the dais, take money, maybe not directly, but through your various campaigns. I, as a physician, this is now RFK saying this, but I can't take a pen from a pharmaceutical company for fear of it adulterating my decision-making or just looking ethically not right. And yet hundreds of millions of dollars are being sprinkled all over the government. That needs to be changed. Pharma ads on TV, we're only one of 2 or 3 countries in the world that allow that. RFK Jr. had told me at one point that the first thing he wanted to do if he became president, back when he was running for president, was bring the major medical journals together and say, look, if you don't remove the adulterating influences on your editorial process, I'm going to issue a RICO action against you. So these are the kinds of things he's looking at. He just wants to clean things up, get the science clear, and make America healthy. And then, of course, he's going to do the food side, too. I think you interviewed Callie Means, did you not? Or one of the Means, brother or sister. And he wants to clean up the sources of food as well.
Yeah. If you get rid of pharmaceutical ads on TV, I don't know how the network evening newscasts survive. Because every single ad on the network evening newscast.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And is that adulterating the film, the way news is being presented? I mean, that's a concern.
Okay, so let's talk for a moment. We just had the 5-year anniversary of COVID. Obviously, we went through
it was 4 years ago we were together, right?
Yeah. So you think about all of that. And no, it was 5. It was 2020. It's now 2020.
Oh my goodness.
5, right?
It's so amazing.
So you think about that, where we are, what we've learned, what we did right. What's the first thing that kind of goes through your mind?
The first thing that went through my mind is we have learned that many of the things that we were practicing here were just made up out of thin air. And I don't know if you remember, remember that red, green, and was it red, yellow, and blue, green? The tears. I kept going, that's just made up.
Barbara Ferrer.
Yes, that was made up. I'm like, and by the way, the green tier, I kept saying we're never going to get there because COVID is going to be around. It's just the way it is. And the 6-foot distancing was invented out of thin air, and Francis Collins admitted that he didn't take into any risk-reward analysis when he was issuing these frankly draconian edicts. And so I think what we learned is to be more careful, to allow scientific discourse. If you notice that certain opinions are being silenced, then there's a problem. In science and medicine, things are a discourse. That's how you arrive at approximation of the truth.
There was a New York Times article this week in the opinion section. We were badly misled about the events that changed our lives, talking about the way that COVID started. And this concept that it was a lab leak from China was so, vilified.
Remember, it was racist to say that it came from China, but not racist to say that people ate animals in an unhealthy setting.
But it turns out that that's probably what happened, right?
Probably what happened. And really, the problem, let's say it isn't. Let's say the lab leak, it turns out to not be factually so. I happen to believe that all the evidence suggests it is. But the fact that it was crushed, that opinions were being censored and actively sideline. I mean, look, the greatest, the most Shakespearean chapter of this whole story is that Jay Bhattacharya is the head of the NIH right now. But I became a friend of him after we left each other, and I just thought, oh my God, this is the guy they were sort of silencing. It made no sense whatsoever. He's a consummate professional. He had an opinion. Okay, good. He had to be taken down per the words of his former colleagues at the NIH, and then he ends up being at the NIH and heading the NIH. That is a Shakespearean story if I've ever heard one.
It's a different time. So the big reason you're here with us tonight is you've got a friend that you want to help promote. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to be doing later in the show.
I'm going to give the hook here, which is we're going to talk about dolphins.
Okay.
And we're going to hook dolphins into health and longevity. Okay. Stay tuned for that, I promise. The woman that discovered this is brilliant. She's written a book, and I stand behind everything she represents.
It's called the Longevity Nutrient, and we'll be talking that a little bit later on in the show. Great to see you. And of course, all your stuff at drdrew.com.
Yes,
thank you. All sorts of different shows,
been doing a lot of
podcasts and videos and everywhere. You're everywhere.
Another weird thing that came out of COVID was all these streaming shows and different opportunities to do digital content. Weird.
Yeah. You're everywhere. All right, we'll see you later, Dr. Drew.
Got it.